you can even watch back. Giving players all the props or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk facts.
We're giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
Play it on the car ride, play it when you lounge. X and O, you know that we can hold it down. Shout out to my man Sammy, got it off the ground. And to all the listeners tuned in right now, got debates, analysis, and speculation. This is sports talk for the new generation. You know where to find us, got a reputation. Sick Podcast, your #1 sports destination.
We're giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
SICK is the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk back. SICK,
S-I-C-K,
SICK,
S-I-C-K,
SICK,
S-I-C-K,
SICK.
All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
SICK is the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk facts.
We're giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
Play it on the car ride, play it when you lounge. X and O, you know that we can hold it down. Shout out to my man Sammy, got it off the ground. And to all the listeners tuned in right now, got debates, analysis, and speculation. This is sports talk for the new generation. You know where to find us, got a reputation. Sick Podcast, your #1 sports destination.
We're giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
SICK is the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk back. SICK,
S-I-C-K,
SICK,
S-I-C-K,
SICK.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. The Eye Test with Pierre, McGuire, and Jimmy Murphy.
The Stanley Cup winning Colorado Avalanche. And after 22 years, Raymond Moore
The sickest NHL podcast. It's gonna be sick.
And welcome to another edition of the Eye Test here in the Sick Podcast Network. He is Pierre McGuire. I am Jimmy Murphy. Pierre, how are you, my friend?
Excellent, Jimmy. How you doing?
Not too bad at all. Excited to bring on our guest shortly, ECAC Commissioner Doug Christiansen. Of course, we had him on a couple times last year, live from Westside Johnny's, and of course up in Lake Placid, and actually I think a time before that as well. So looking forward to seeing how the off season is going for him and the ECAC. But Pierre, quickly, just your thoughts. We've kind of hit that lull right now in the NHL news cycle. Obviously, some more arbitrations, avoiding going to court, avoiding going before the judge. But I mean, nothing really surprising right now. We're just kind of in that period. But do you feel like maybe once we get into August, we'll start to see a little more action?
Yeah, I do. I think we're getting close to it right now. A lot of guys are back from vacation. They did take some downtime.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't mean that the business of hockey's totally stopped, because it hasn't. One of the things that's interesting, if you want to be a student of history, 20 years ago today, Sidney Crosby got drafted by the Pittsburgh Penguins, which is kind of a neat thing. And that changed the entire dynamic of the Pittsburgh Penguins organization, because there was a real good chance they were moving. Whether it was to Kansas City or to Houston, it was almost impossible for them to stay in Pittsburgh, especially with the old building, the old Igloo, which is where I used to work. But I'll never forget the day Sidney got drafted was up in Ottawa the next Monday. So he got drafted that next Monday that after he was drafted, the Pittsburgh Penguins had to rent out rooms at the Marriott Hotel across the street from the Civic Arena to employ more staff, because they didn't have enough office space because of the demands of their clientele and their supporters after Crosby got drafted. He totally changed everything when it came to the Pittsburgh Penguins. Totally.
Remind me, Pierre, was that a draft? Was that a decentralized draft?
No, the draft was in Ottawa, and the reason it wasn't in the big building, it was in the convention center, because that was the year of the lockout.
That's right. Okay.
We had the nuclear winter, the 04-05 season. There was no hockey that year for the NHL. There was obviously in other places.
Were there fans at that one, or is it just
there were fans?
Okay.
No, there were fans. There weren't, like we're used to having, but there were fans. Yep.
Right.
There were fans.
Good stuff there. And Pierre, like we said, I mean, look, none of these arbitration cases have reached court yet. Like, you've been saying this all summer. And people didn't want to believe you, and here we are. And the other thing too, Pierre, and I've got a story coming out on this on Friday for RG. Talk to some player agents and GMs, and it's got some really interesting insight. But it was basically the same stuff that you've been warning us about on why there wouldn't be as many offer sheets as people expected, and wouldn't be as many. There haven't been any, Pierre.
No. Let's put it this way. Senseless argument is probably the nicest way to term it, is that the cap's going up. So all these people will have money to go out and sign players. Actually, no, they won't. No, they won't, because their owner's not going to let them spend to the cap.
Because they have internal caps, yeah.
Correct. And there's some we've talked about this a lot. There's going to be some breaking stuff. The league is, health-wise, is tremendous financially. Like the franchise values keep going up and up and up, which is great. They just signed a streaming deal today, which is awesome for the league and awesome for the partners, and the partners are the owners. They're all partners of the league. But the Canadian dollar's not getting any better. Yeah. And there's some issues with some teams. There's some teams that have lost significant amounts of money.
Well, the big thing too, Pierre, that, and I've seen some journalists touch on it a bit, but it hasn't really made it into the news cycle as much too, is with these Canadian teams, because of the rising cap and because of what you're seeing right now, where some teams are struggling financially and have their own internal caps, they're not going to, in this new CBA, when that starts in September, not this year, but next year, it's going to be harder with those bonus limitations for these teams to lure the big name free agents there. Because, for example, look at Austin Matthews right now. Go look at his contract. I urge everyone to look at it and look how bonus laden it is. Yeah. And that's going to be hard for those Canadian teams to do under the new CBA. So my question to you is, Pierre, and I was talking to Marty Walsh about this a couple of weeks ago. and I was looking at the new CBA, and I said, wait a minute, Marty. So all that doesn't kick in until September 16th, 2026. And we talked about this last week a bit. So that means that next off season is still under this CBA.
Correct.
How much do you think Canadian GMs or Canadian teams are going to try and utilize the fact that it's still technically under that to set themselves up and avoid maybe problems down the road, if they can do that?
You're always looking to do that. You're always looking to tweak. It's a good point by you, Jimmy, but you're always looking to try to find a way to make your business more responsible and make your team as competitive as it can be. All I can tell you is, and I'm not going to tell you the team, I'm not going to tell you the owner, I told this to Jimmy 10 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
Their ownership groups that are asking hockey department, hockey operations people to cut 10% of their actual budgets
Mm-hmm.
because things haven't been as good as a lot of people think. And, you know, one person that talked to me said, any thoughts? And I gave him an idea of something that we had done when I was first in Ottawa back in the mid 1990s. And we were a small budget team, and it really worked. It made everybody accountable, and it was a brilliant idea. It was created by Randy Sexton, but it was a brilliant idea, and it really worked for our group and allowed us to really get competitive in a hurry. And I told him that story, and he goes, Pierre, we can't do that. Our guys will never accept that. I said, well, you're going to have no choice.
You're going to have no choice. Yeah, exactly.
No choice.
Exactly. It's good. Interesting though, like you said, they're already starting to look into different ways to work with it, and that's smart. That's really smart.
You know, and I appreciate the fact that, you know, somebody would call me from an organization knowing that I have, you know, a little bit of experience doing this.
Yeah.
And it wasn't my idea that I shared with him. It was Randy Sexton's, and I always give credit where credit's due. And I told him that, and the guy was like, well, it's really smart, but I don't think our guys will do it. I said, they're going to have no choice.
Yeah. Yep.
They have no choice. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Speaking of Randy Sexton too, by the way, Pierre, and I hope he's watching. We loved that interview we had with him a while back. I still get compliments on that. I had somebody in the hockey world come up to me the other day. I bumped into them here in Providence, actually. And they said, man, that Randy Sexton interview was amazing. You guys got to get him on again. So I think we'll set that up for this season coming up. For sure.
He'll come on anytime. I just want to say one other thing too. Yesterday, a real good friend of Randy and Ray Sherrill, was his birthday, the late Ray Sherrill.
I saw that.
So, I know that his boys, Kyle and Christopher, watch this, and I just want to tell you, I was thinking of your father, and sat on my back porch here where I sat with him for many nights talking hockey, and we had a drink together in our own way.
Good. Thinking of the good times. That's what you got to do. All right. Well, like I said, we've got a great guest coming on, so let's bring him on right now. He's a friend of the eye test, ECAC hockey commissioner, Doug Christiansen, join us here on the eye test. Hey, Doug, how you doing?
I'm great. Thanks so much for having me. And nice hat, by the way.
I knew you'd like that. I love this hat.
That's good.
I wear it with pride, my friend. It's a nice one too. It's sharp.
Those
Pierre, if you play your cards right, we might be able to get you one.
Do you know what? That's very kind of you, Commissioner. And the other thing I wanted to share with you is in my fridge downstairs, I still have some ECAC beers. So
that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
They sold out pretty quickly up there. I think a few people found a way to get some home. So as they should have.
I snagged this as well. This is held up.
Oh yeah, that's great. That's great.
Stains on it, but it's good.
That's good. Well, it means it's getting good use. That's
exactly.
What it's for.
Exactly. Doug, so how's your summer been?
It's been great. I figured that the end of July podcast time was the premium time that everybody was thinking about college hockey in the NHL.
Mm-hmm.
But jokes aside, my summer's been great. It's been rejuvenating. Lots of things are happening in the college hockey space. Of course, as you saw with Gavin McKenna coming to college hockey, rule changes, the NCAA changes. We have executive orders. There's just a lot of things happening in college athletics. And we as a league are doing our best to make sure that we're positioned in a way to grow and to develop. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention, obviously, Ray Shiro is alumni of our league. Fantastic person. I've got to know him personally as well. And I know a lot of people from St. Lawrence attended his memorial and think of him quite regularly.
Yeah, but well said, and thank you for saying that, Doug. It means a lot. You got to be excited. Speaking of alumni and alma maters, your alma mater is getting a brand new rink. You excited about that? Union College.
I am. I think so. Union College is where I played. My brother played. Ironically, I was on a committee when I was a student there, which was, I don't know, a lifetime ago, and to try to look to get a new building. And for them to get that done, for Jim McLaughlin and his athletic department staff to be able to, it's alumni donors, it's harnessing campus resources, it's all of those things to be able to get a new rink. And for them to have one, Colgate's obviously got a new facility. Lots of our schools, Cornell has put significant investment in. Harvard just finished putting investment in. Dartmouth's going under a renovation. I could keep going on and on. And so you look at that, that's not just a side for Union College. It's a sign of our league continuing to invest. And I believe it's that first weekend of October 4th. They've got a home game, and it'll be a packed house. It'll be a ton of fun, and I plan to be there.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
That's really good.
Of your alma mater, they will be taking part in the 2025 Friendship Four, along with RIT in the men's division, and then the first women's ever Friendship Four. You got two teams in that as well, Doug. Pierre and I just found out we will be heading over there again for both tournaments. Will we see you over there or what?
That's great. I think I'll definitely be at one of the two. I've got to try to work out some of the logistics. Obviously, we've got a lot more home games back on native soil than we do in Belfast for me to be busy. But Belfast is a special place. For the listeners who don't know, I worked as the head coach of the Belfast Giants and had that opportunity for 3 years. It's a wonderful city. I got married there. It's a really special place, and it's largely a special place because of the people and the part that the teams really get to know. They know that they're going to another place, another country, another city. What they just don't know is how great their opportunity is going to be to meet the people and experience it. And for whether it's the players who play in our league or players who play for other places, I just feel such a strong commitment to ensure that the people who go have a wonderful experience so that they talk about it the same way that I do and the two of you do as well.
I love what you just said. I'm excited about this entire college hockey season, Commissioner, but here's the one thing I'm really pumped about. A lot of teams in your league have really utilized the new rules of college hockey in terms of recruitment of major junior players to make their programs better. Internally, how is that being received?
Well, I think once the rule changed, it was everybody's job, league, teams, to do the best they possibly could to try to find ways to maximize their rosters, staying consistent with what their ethos as an institution is. That's academically, that's socially, everything. I mean, one of the things that we do so well as a league is we graduate outstanding people, both men and women. And for us as a league to be able to attract top players and have them be able to go through the academic rigor of our schools, and at the same time be able to develop as a hockey player to achieve their goals of playing pro hockey, as we just talked about with the investment of millions of dollars going into rinks and facilities, that's what we want to be doing. So for us, it's really been about our schools finding what their best niche is going to be. Some schools are closer geographically than others. Some have the ability to, maybe they're onto a kid elsewhere and an opportunity freed up because the wider place of college hockey is able to recruit all over Canada and beyond. So I think it's been something that'll be interesting to see in college hockey. And obviously there's a lot of excitement about it. Yeah,
I agree 100%.
Doug, I want to ask you too, just staying on that topic, heading into this, once you found out it was in effect, did commissioners of junior leagues or vice versa, commissioners in NCAA reach out to each other to kind of learn a little more about stuff up there and the landscape there? And if so, how is what you learned kind of transpired?
Great question. So we have an internal college hockey commissioners association that we speak on a monthly basis, but quite frankly, I talked to two commissioners today already. So we talk very regularly. The CHL commissioners and college hockey, we really started to get connected this past year. And that has been something that we have try to build a relationship, try to answer questions. I think both sides don't know exactly about each other and the intricacies of the what academic requirements are, what the school packages look like. What does a recruiting situation look like when a player is being recruited who is 18 years old and playing major junior? Is that like it is in the USHL where it's come on in, let's have that conversation, or is it different? So those conversations have had, and of course we have had consistent conversations with both USA Hockey and the USHL, because the USHL has been an outstanding partner and will continue to be an outstanding partner of college hockey, as we have roughly 95% of the players in that league wind up in college hockey somewhere. So it's been a really good pipeline for our schools and will continue to be.
I'm really pumped. I saw a lot of the recruits' names that were, I followed pretty close, and see what Clarkson's done, see what Colgate's done, see what Cornell's done. I'm so pumped. It has nothing to do with players. Eric Lang going RPI. I think that's just a monster shot in the arm for a legendary program like RPI has. It's going to be huge for them. There's so much potential for growth, which I'm really pumped about with the ECAC. And I don't think it's getting enough place, not because of anything you did wrong or anybody else did wrong. It's just being overshadowed because everybody's focusing on Gavin McKenna, and everybody's focusing in on Porter Martone, which is fine. I get it. But there are a lot of good players coming in the ECAC. I think the ECAC is going to surprise a ton of people this year. I really do.
Well, I think from our standpoint as a league, we're thrilled about how we're growing. We're thrilled about how the players are coming into our league and the competitive dynamic that's always been there, that every single night is a tight game. And that's one of the things that not only prepares players, when we talk about undrafted free agents, there's a reason why we have the second most NHL undrafted free agents in terms of game played in the NHL. The reason for that is because players are used to playing in tight games, getting above pucks, tracking back the right way, doing the little details, because that's what's required every single night in our league. And so I think that influx of players coming in, and you know what, quite frankly, I look at it when it's a situation like a Gavin McKenna coming in, that's good. You know who his first college game at home is against? Clarkson.
Yeah,
well, that's great.
Yeah, I was just going to say Clarkson.
And so that for us is the type of thing that that's a great experience for our student athletes. That's a lot of fun for the teams, and it's a great challenge. It's something for people to look forward to. And it gets people talking about college hockey. And I do think the one thing that we're really going to see is that college hockey has always been great at developing players. Major junior has been great at developing players. But we're going to see, by and large, the finishing school for players is going to be college hockey before they go on to the NHL. And they're going to come at different points in time. They're going to come, every player is going to be a little bit different with their path. But you're going to see that opportunity to grow, improve, play against older players, move away from home, develop the maturity that's required as a professional, and then obviously go on and hopefully have a really successful career. So we feel really good about where we stand as a league, and I think college hockey feels really good about its growth opportunity.
And hey, Jimmy, one other thing to build off what the commission just said, the ECAC, without a doubt, and you know how much I watch, Jimmy.
Oh, yeah.
It's the most physical of all the college leagues. So it's more of a torture test physically because of the rivalry situation that the commissioner just talked about. I'm so excited about this season. I don't think the league's getting enough respect, and I think they will. By the time we're halfway through the year, people are going to say, holy moly, these guys are way better than I thought.
Well, there's no question. I think for us as a league, with how tight our games are, our teams, especially by the end of the year, they are battle tested. And you've seen that with the success of our teams in the NCAA tournaments, right? You see Cornell and their success. You look at, obviously, Quinnipiac winning a national championship just a few seasons ago, that every single night they get tested in those ways. And I think that that's a really good indication of how players can go on and play pro hockey. And I think that for us, as a league, we double down on that. We lean into that. And we love the fact that it's a grind in our league. And we love the fact that it's going to push you. But it's going to push you in a way that ensures that you come out and you're prepared to do all the things you need to do off the rink to be able to be prepared the next week, whether that's video study, whether that's strength and conditioning, whatever that might be. They do it so for Friday night when the puck drops, you're ready to go.
Commissioner, tell us, just give us a little glimpse. You come into an off season, what it's like for a college hockey commissioner in the off season, what your job entails, how it's different from the regular season.
Sure. So first thing is you're wrapping up the fiscal year from the previous year. That's obviously no different than running a small business. We're tied to the similar calendar to the NHL. So everything that you're doing is, doing all the accounting for your men's and women's championships. You also have an annual meeting in Bonita Springs, Florida, where all of the conferences, both men and women, come together. That has everything from rules to logistics to setting budgets to all of the different things that go into running the business of hockey. And then once you have that wrapped up, it's really about when you did that, you executed and created your for the next year. Bear with me. I've clearly talked too much. My AirPod died. It's a hard working AirPod. It's a hard working AirPod. So then once you've created that plan for the next year, it's really about going out and executing that plan.
Right.
And that's what we really then go out and do. So in the summer, it's of course sponsorships. It's putting together the schedules, because our schedule is done. People probably don't think about this 2 years in advance, because our people are scheduling non-conference games for 27, 28 right now.
Yeah.
So we're doing all of those things to get ready for the season. Of course, that's making sure our staff comes back, making sure that they understand what their roles and hopefully are expanding and doing, because they did a great job the year before. And so for us, those are the things that we do, because once you get to August, it goes pretty quick. And those of us who watch Game of Thrones, winter is coming.
Jimmy, you know what's really cool about the ECAC too? The amount of Olympic participation that's going to be in Milano this year. ECAC attachment. So especially in the women's side, and I don't think that's getting enough play either, because everybody's focusing in on the guys' teams, which is fine. I've done 7 Olympics, and I can tell you right now, the women's Olympic games are unbelievably competitive. And if you ever get a Canada-U.S. final, it's crazy. And half the rosters on both sides are from the ECAC. It's unbelievable.
I mean, what's been so fun for us and for me is in the last couple of years, we've had the number 1 overall pick the last 2 years, one from Kaltkova from Colgate this past year, and the year before that, Sarah Fillier from Princeton. 2 years ago, we had 3 of the first 6 in the picks in the draft. This year, we had 5 of the first 8. I mean, you look at those players, obviously they had the growth with 2 additional teams in the PWHL. So you see that growth not only from general managers, but coaches. Well, those high-end players wind up on Olympic teams. And this is something I'm really looking forward to doing. And one thing on an interesting note was we have partnered with USA Hockey and their officiating development program. And they actually have their top officials coming through and working in our league, regardless of location. So the officials that you see, good or bad, because everybody loves to weigh in on officiating, the officials who come to the United States will have officiated in our league and had an opportunity before they go to the Olympics, which I think for us is a real feather in our cap and a feather in obviously a very underappreciated profession.
Will you be heading over there?
I don't think so. I would love to.
Smack in the middle of the season is tough.
Yeah,
Right?
If the opportunity itself, it'd probably be a quick trip. But if the opportunity does present itself, I can make that.
Yeah, exactly. You got to make that happen.
No, I agree. The other thing too, Commissioner and Jimmy, that I've seen happen, Jimmy knows, Commissioner, I study trends about all different hockey things. The one trend that I'm really seeing from the ECAC in particular, the amount of influence Maritimes and Quebec are having in terms of the types of players you're going to get right now. Have you noticed that as well, or is it just something that I'm dreaming up?
No, I have noticed it, and I would say that I think that for a lot of our schools, expanding their recruiting base and going to areas that they feel as though they can have a bit more success, either geographically or whatever reason, they have found that. And whether that's an untapped spot or whether that's an area that there's personal connections, I think that all those things go into recruiting. And right now it does have that trend. I mean, it's clear and obvious that it's on our women's side, because if you look at the rosters throughout our league, we're dominated pretty heavily by Canadian women. And for us, that's been a real stronghold for us in recruiting, as the Midwest has had with Ohio State and Wisconsin. Minnesota has really been able to attract the players from the Midwest. But yeah, there's no question on our men's side, dabbling into Quebec and the Maritime region has been successful.
Yep.
Stuff. Well, Commish, we appreciate you taking the time today. It's been a pleasure as always, and we look forward to seeing you at the rink soon.
No, I think it's fantastic. Thanks very much for all that you guys do for our game and for your support of our league. And it's great to talk hockey in the summer. So enjoy what's left of your off seasons, and
You too.
you.
I'll talk to you soon, Commissioner.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. That's
Thanks.
ECAC Commissioner Doug Christiansen joining us here on the eye test. Always a pleasure talking with him, Pierre. And, I'm lucky enough through you, I met him. And I love learning from him. Like, I feel like every time we have a new him on for an interview, I learn something new. So it's great. And I think, as you said, both sides, and I think maybe the women's isn't getting recognized enough. They're in a really strong position right now, though.
Oh, they're in a hugely strong position. They've got elite coaches. I think about Matt DeRoche, I think about, obviously, Chris Wells. I look at around their entire league. It's just phenomenal. Whether, you're talking Yale, whether you're talking St. Lawrence, you're talking Clarkson to Cornell, it's been amazing to watch the growth of women's hockey in the ECAC. It's been fantastic. It really has been. And that I do the playoffs for them, and I really enjoy. It's one of the highlights of my year. It really is. I love doing it. And to watch how much better every year the women's game gets, it's awesome. It's so important to the growth of hockey. It really is. It's fantastic to watch.
Yeah, and speaking of growth, I think it's great too that he's going to have some women's teams over there in Belfast as well. Where, I think when we went over there, a lot of the talk I got was more about the men's side, Pierre. But now that they're bringing the women's tournament there too, I think will be huge to grow the game. And he must be excited. They're obviously excited to be part of that.
Oh my gosh, yeah. How could they not? I know some of the parents who have daughters at Harvard in particular, and they're the women's team, one of the women's team going over, and I know how excited they are. Yeah. The parents are thrilled. And I've had a couple of comments. So where do you guys stay? And I said, we stay at a certain place, Jimmy and I, and maybe you want to stay somewhere else. And I keep telling them, go to Merchants. Go to Merchants Hotel. Merchants is
we are looking to do a broadcast or 2 or 3, whatever we can, from that wonderful establishment there. And of course, we'll be back at the Harry Lemon. I've been in touch with Michael, the general manager there, and we probably will be at the Harp as well.
We'll definitely be at the Harp.
One thing I'm looking forward to, Pierre, and this was your idea when we spoke to Sarah Stanton of Cara Travel last week, is that we are going to broadcast from the games this year, from the first day when they have 2 games. We will broadcast in between from the arena. So that's something I think that will really be fun because the fans will be there. We can get them into it and include them. So I'm so excited for that. I know it's not for another few months, but we'll be here before we know it.
No, it comes fast, as you know. And again, I'd consider going there. It's not just a hockey trip. It's a growth trip. You learn a lot about different parts of the world. You learn a lot about different players. You learn a lot about different ideologies. You learn a lot if you keep your ears open. I was fortunate enough to be part of a panel last year and just to hear the other ideas of the other athletes, whether they were boxers, whether they were soccer players, whether they were field hockey players. It was a great learning experience for me, and I really enjoyed that part of it, and I still do.
Yeah, and I think obviously, Pierre, with us having Irish heritage and knowing what went on in that area for so long in Belfast and Northern Ireland with the Troubles, the theme of the Friendship 4 is really what touched me the most. And, they talk about it, but when you get over there, you actually feel it and you see, how hockey is uniting that area. And there's still tension. Like, don't get me wrong. There's still tension there. But it goes away when they're in the rink. And that's what I love so much about what the Friendship 4 does.
Hockey brings everybody together. There's no question, whether it's Stevie Thornton, who's the excellent general manager of the Belfast Giants, or Robert Fitzpatrick, our good friend. It's amazing to see what they've utilized hockey to do in their community.
Yep.
And now they're trying to do it on the women's side as well. And that's why we're going back in January, right after New Year's, for that tournament. And to see the growth of the young ladies getting involved now, I think is fantastic. And that's a big thing for Robert. Robert's a guy that brings people together, and that's what he's all about. And that you've talked to him enough.
Yeah.
It's a big part of what he does.
It is.
So I'm excited for it. It never gets old to talk to those guys, and I'm looking forward to it.
Before we move away from the Q&A there, Pierre, I just want to stay on college for one more topic and revisit the CHL NCAA
Yep.
agreement there. Has there been something through the course of the last few months that has stood out to you in terms of surprising you about what you've seen and how you've seen this transpire? Because it's foreign territory for a lot of us. We all had our theories of how it might unravel and progress. What has surprised you the most?
The fact that agents and coaches and NHL teams have found a way to come together, exchange fair ideology on all sides, and whether it's Gavin McKenna, whether it's Porter Martone, some guys are ready to come down and play college hockey. Some guys aren't.
Right.
And they were drafted in the first round. It doesn't mean that they're not, good players. They're good players. But their agents recognize he needs another year at junior before he can come down and play.
Yeah.
And so we're seeing a lot of interesting things. But what's amazed me, and I told you about a conversation I had with a college coach this morning. He called me out of the blue this morning, and we were talking about different recruiting areas and how to go about it. But what really impressed me is the agents, the NHL teams, and the coaches on both sides, junior and college, saying, you know what, this guy is ready to play in college, or no. He might have got drafted in the first round. He's not ready to play college this year. So he's going to go back to his junior team. More of a spirit of cooperation than I expected.
That's what I was going to get
Way
to.
more, Jimmy. I thought, because you're talking to somebody that when I used to go in the rinks up north.
Yes.
Like,
glad you're bringing this up.
It was mayhem, man. I'm telling you, it was bad news.
You were telling you didn't wear your jacket. Are you?
No, there were times. No, I mean, some I was more comfortable than others just because I knew the coaches. But
right,
there were some where you just didn't wear. You didn't rep anything from the school you were working at because there's a chance you were going to have some mayhem when you left the rink.
And we're far away from that now, so that's a good thing. All right.
Yep.
Let's talk about our great sponsor, Betway, before we get to the Q&A here, because I've seen the questions lining up. You can still go all the way with Betway. Even if you lose on your first bet as a new member, you can get up to $200 credit back. You go to the QR code right there in front of you or the details section on the website and sign up for a new account. Baseball season is heating up. We got the trade deadline tomorrow. It's getting crazy. And as I told you the last few weeks, Pierre, I've been getting back into the Red Sox. Feels good. Nice big win for them again today. They're now 4 games out of first place. And yeah, at least I did not see that coming. But you can go right now to Betway, bet the baseball, bet some MLS. We were just talking off air about the CFL, and the Montreal Alouettes are having a good, solid season. You can bet on CFL as well there. And of course, I believe tomorrow night, I might not be mistaken. I'll look it up as we start the Q&A, but I believe the Hall of Fame game for the NFL is tomorrow night, or it's this weekend. So preseason football in the NFL is right around the corner. So lots of stuff going on. And like we said before, you know it, hockey will be kicking into high gear in mid-September and early October. So go over to Betway right now. Use that QR code to go to the details section. Redeem your welcome offer. Terms and conditions apply. You must be 18 plus and always bet responsibly.
Hey, before you go to the questions, I just want to say one thing about what we're doing when we go overseas. We could never do this without Sarah Stan. No chance. Yeah. We could not at Cara Travel. She's been amazing, Jimmy. And, we talked to her on the phone, what was it, about 7-10 days ago, something like that. And just her whole staff, it blew me away. And I know she just, not for this coming year, but the year after, North Dakota's going over.
Oh, yeah.
And they've already talked, just to show people so they understand the power of this event. North Dakota is already basically sold out.
It's
They've been in touch with Sarah. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
So I'm so excited about the growth of this. And let's also remember one other thing, and this is for those that, don't understand. Belfast is up north, Dublin's south. It's about 2.5 hours by train. Jimmy and I enjoy the train ride.
We got to do that again, Pierre.
We're going to do it again
okay.
On Tuesday morning because we got to get up there to do the show on Tuesday afternoon. But this is for you too. Dublin's getting a rink. Dublin's going to have a pro team.
That's great.
And I'm going to tell you right now, those Dublin-Belfast games, That's going to be unbelievable. That's going to be like Quebec and Montreal. That's going to be like Toronto and Ottawa. It's going to be like, Cornell and Colgate or St. Lawrence and Clark. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
I'm so pumped for that. Really.
I am too. I'm excited we're part of this, and then we get to go twice now too. So a bonus there. Looking forward to that. All right, what do we have for the Q&A right now? Let's see. Bert L, how you doing, Bert? How challenging is it to balance special treatment for stars with keeping a team feeling like they're all treated fairly? That's a great question there, Pierre. And I just want to add to that too. Your opinion, Pierre, if you too as well, how that will be done in college hockey as well, with some of these big names coming over from junior hockey, specifically, obviously, Gavin McKenna. How do you still make it an even playing there?
The smart coaches will figure it out quick. And the ones that continually talk about all these young guys coming down, they're the ones that are going to be in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
They will be. Yep. Because what the younger guys are going to find out, and not everybody's Macklin Celebrini, and not everybody's Lane Hudson, and not everybody's Jack Eichel, and not everybody's Paul Correa.
Yep.
Just some young players that have really thrived in college hockey. Adam Fantilli's another one that comes to mind. But what'll happen is the young guys that come down, they're going to find out fast, these guys are bigger, they're faster, and they're stronger than I thought.
Yep.
So I think the internal mechanism of leadership will matter in terms of the core leadership of the older players. But the coaches that continually talk about all these great players they've brought down, those are the guys. If it doesn't get going early, those guys will be in trouble.
And it's the same way I imagine Pierre in the pros as well. And I think back, Pierre, the ways when Zdeno Chara came in and the culture he set, where he said, we're all equal. I don't care if you're a fourth liner or a third pairing D-man. We are all equal on this team. And that goes from me. That goes for Patrice Bergeron and so on with all the other stars they had. Was that the mentality and culture you had in those Penguins teams with Mario? Yeah,
Mario was amazing. Some of his best friends to this day, Jay Caulfield was a fourth line player, sometimes a healthy scratch, but one tough son of a gun. One of the greatest players I ever had a chance to work with because he was so receptive to coaching. He always wanted to get better every day. Phil Bourque was another one. Bob Airey was another one. Mario set the tone for everybody. And I've told you this story a million times. We had training camp in 91-92 season in Vail, Colorado. And our plane was late. There were no cell phones back then. And I had the team. I had the big team. Scotty had the other guys. He wanted to see what the younger guys were able to do in an exhibition game with the Islanders. But we landed like 2 hours late. And I remember calling up Craig and Scotty and saying, hey, do you want us to practice? What do you want me to do? And Scotty's like, don't ask me. You're practicing. Get those guys on the ice. It's training camp. So I said, okay. So I went to Mario. I figured this out after winning the cup with him in 91. I said, Ace, can I see you for a second? He said, we're going to have to practice. The boss wants us to practice. He goes, okay, just get us some food.
Oh, yeah.
We pulled over at a rest area, and they all ran in. I don't know what. I don't want to insult any of the fast food companies, but they went and got hamburgers and french fries, whatever they wanted at one of those fast food stores. You ask any player, Paul Coffey was there, Mario was there, Kevin Stevens, ask any of the guys, Kevin Stevens, Mark Recchi, this before the Taka trade. Ask any of them. That practice, Mario Lemieux put on a show. That set the standard for the rest of the season.
That's awesome.
Scary how good he was. And he was pushing guys to be better. Like, come on, let's go. And it was amazing. As a coach, you're just like, let's go.
That's great. Good stuff. All right. What do we got for the next question? Alex Ivanowski, don't you think some of this lack of offer sheet thing is due to the fact GMs generally have unwritten rules about this stuff? Given the blowback in the past, it feels that way.
Nope. I did respect. And Alex usually has awesome takes. Usually, Alex, you have awesome takes. I respectfully don't agree with you.
I think it's very much more financial. It really is.
That, and also it costs assets.
Yep.
It costs assets. And I'm just telling you, people saw what happened with Edmonton last year, and Edmonton did that to themselves.
Yep.
I said it that day. I said it. Jimmy knows. We can get the tape. I said they made their team redundant. They're in big trouble.
Yes.
And it was about a day or two later. It's like, oh, man.
Painted themselves into a corner.
They put themselves in a bad – and everybody learned from that.
Yeah.
Everybody learned from that.
And by the way, I want to correct myself from last week. I had stated that I thought that happened at the end of July, early August. Wasn't until August 20th, Pierre, when those offer sheets were signed.
Yeah.
All right, next question. Mike, would love to know your main concern for the Habs going into the next season. My main one is the penalty kill. I don't think we have a specialist, especially on the back end. I've heard this a bit on the, amongst Habs fans on social, Pierre.
But it's fair though, because obviously David Savard was a huge shot blocking machine and he's retired. I think eventually Jaden Struble can be that guy. I think eventually maybe Arbor can be that guy, but they're going to have to work with him and refine him. Doesn't mean it's going to happen overnight. Up front, I think they do have a specialist. His name is Jake Evans. I think Jake's a really good penalty killer. I think Nick Suzuki's a really good penalty killer too.
Yeah.
And so I still think there's some room. I think Josh Anderson's an elite penalty killer. So I'm not so worried about the biggest part about penalty kill is goaltending has to be good. That's number one. And schemes and then faceoffs. One guy they did lose that's going to hurt him is obviously Dvorak.
Yes.
Christian Dvorak on faceoffs because they had already lefty situation going with him and Jake Evans, and it was good for both of them. Now I don't know who that other centerman's going to be. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. But I think the PK will get better as the year goes along.
All right, next question. Ethan Russell. What's up, Ethan? How do you see Liam Ogren performing this upcoming year? I haven't heard much about him in the media.
Oh, boy. He's probably the most fit young guy out there right now. Again, I don't want to say too much because my kid's got to go earn a job. He's signed with Minnesota's and he went to 2 development camps with Liam. They're very good friends, but you should see Liam Ogren's in unbelievable shape. He's going to have a big year. I'll be shocked if he's not in the NHL this year. I'll be shocked if he's not competing in the NHL on a regular basis this year. And I'll be really surprised if he doesn't have a big year for a first full-time year guy in the NHL. I'm really excited to see where he goes with his season this year.
All right, next question. Juice _031017. There's 5 players guaranteed to be on the Canadiens' blue line on opening night with Hudson, Dobson, Matheson, and Gooley and Carrier. Who gets the last spot? That is one of the $1 million questions.
Well, that's a big question. Nobody really knows for sure because I don't know if the Canadiens are done making moves.
I don't either.
And we'll see how that plays out. So I don't want to jump the gun there, but I do think there has to be some refinement for Struble, which congratulations on his contract extension. I'm really happy for him. And also for Arbor. I think if they can refine both those guys just a little bit, they're going to have players that are going to be able to help them.
Yeah. We'll get to the next question in a second, Pierre, but you bring up Arbor there. Obviously, things didn't go too well for him down the stretch run and then some scratches in the playoffs as well. As a coach and a player, how important, I imagine it's happened, and if it hasn't, I imagine it will, but how important is it for them to sit down privately, just get on the same page, air it out in a respectful way, and look forward instead of backward?
That's exactly what you do. I've been through this before. I did it with Jimmy Pack, did it with Gordy Roberts, did it with Christopher Pronger. I mean, pretty good players.
Yeah.
Paul Stanton's another one that comes to mind. You sit down and you just share ideology. You don't have to berate them or beat them up. And then you work with them. You show them that you care and you want to work with them. Paul Stanton was a really important player for the Pittsburgh Penguins. He got better every year he was there. Gordy Roberts was critically important for us to beat the Rangers and the Washington Capitals in the times that I was there. And I can tell you because of matchups, he was so good in matchups. Yeah. And Jimmy Pack was phenomenal for us.
I love
that. Those things do matter, but you got to sit down and air it out. And then you got to have coaches that are prepared to work with the player.
Right.
And as long as the player's receptive to coaching, then you got a chance to make them better.
Right. I think there's a place for him on that roster. I really do.
100%. I agree.
All right. Next question. Narig Haverters. The Ducks' only organizational weak point is maybe right-hand D. The Habs desperately need a second-line center who we're not going to go a show without any McTavish in it. Left-handed with some jam. Ryan Backer and futures for McTavish? Who says no? I do.
I don't know if Anaheim would do that. And I don't know if Montreal would do that either. So as much, like you, like all the fans, I'm bullish on Mason McTavish too.
Mhm.
But yeah,
I think Joe Quinville probably is too, and Pat Verbeek.
I was going to say, I think they probably like him just as much.
And look, I think too, Pierre, and you would probably know, you worked in the game in management. He's kind of at that stage where I kind of side with the team. I keep hearing they want to give him a bridge deal, right? Because that's usually a Pat Verbeek trademark, is to do the bridge first and then go to long term. And I would imagine, I don't know this. This is me just theoretically speaking here. That's the stumbling block right now. But I don't think they're going to just let a team come in and take him on an offer sheet, Pierre. It would have been done by now.
Would have been done by now. 100% agree with you, Jimmy. No, he's not going to be offer sheeted.
Yeah. All right. Next question. A moment of clarity. Do minor league teams have to change their system when their NHL affiliate changes their coach? That's a good question.
Great question. And everybody's got a different philosophy
really about that. Yeah.
But it's a great question. So you've got Johnny Hines, who coaches in Minnesota. I'll use them because one of our friends is involved, Greg Cronin.
Mm-hmm.
I know for a fact that Johnny Hines and Jack Capuano, who are coaching in Minnesota, have already talked to Greg Cronin. There's a spirit of cooperation there. They're all three American guys. They've all worked internationally. They've worked in the college game, so they've got similar ideology. But I guarantee you they've already met. They've already talked.
Yep.
In terms of systems and how they're going to deploy things and the types of players they want developed and that kind of stuff. So the answer is the very best teams do that. 100% they do.
All right. Next question. Paul Cormier, another interesting guest. Thank you, Paul. You guys do it right. With Struble now signed, there should be quite a training camp trying to make an impression to be in the starting lineup for the D-men. Yes, we just said, do you guys see a trade of one of those D-men before the season starts?
I could, only in this front, Jimmy. That second center position is really important. We've talked about Dvorak being gone. I know they've talked about Zachary Bolduc playing center. I would not do that. I'm just, especially in his first year in Montreal, I would not. I'd let him play the wing. It's a far less convoluted position for him to play. He can go establish himself offensively, physically, and, do the things that the Canadiens fans want to see from him. So I wouldn't move him. So is Owen Beck ready, Jimmy? Is Florian Jack-Eye ready? Just using examples of interior players Canadiens have. Michael Hayes will be ready at the end of this year. He will be. He'll maybe need a little bit of season. So the Canadiens have stuff. It depends on how fast they want this thing to accelerate.
Right. And it depends. Do they get to camp and say, all right, let's just experiment with what we have internally, and then we'll go from there. Yeah. All right, next question. Zahal, do you guys think Pascal Vincent will get an NHL coaching role during the season, similar to Knobloch to Edmonton a few years ago?
I'd be surprised this year if that happened. I would be very surprised. Now, it doesn't mean at the end of next year he wouldn't get a job or an opportunity, as long as Laval continues to evolve, which last year was phenomenal. But I would say no.
Yeah.
This year.
By all accounts, he seems very happy where he is right now.
He's with him. First of all, people need to respect Original Six franchises.
Yeah.
He's working for an Original Six franchise in obviously one of the top markets in the world for hockey, Montreal. And he's a francophone who's perfectly bilingual, and he's thriving, and he knows he's got a good team. So why wouldn't he be happy?
Great situation. All right, next question. Franco, what's up, Franco? What impact will I was thinking about this today, Pierre, when we were talking. What impact will Ryan Leonard have this coming season? Where does he fit in the Caps lineup?
He should be a top six forward. I know people are going to say, well, he struggled last year. It was too much hockey last year, and you know it as well as I do. It was World Junior. It was
college hockey tournament.
Big time college stuff. And remember now, he was a targeted player all year long.
Oh, yeah.
I watched it, and I know the physical stuff that he was put through. It was savage. I mean, whenever they play Northeastern, it was barbaric.
Yeah.
And so that was the team that knocked him out of the Hockey East tournament.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm not making excuses for the kid, but I think he's going to be a top six winger for them, and I think he's going to do very well for them.
I'm with you. All right, next question. A to Z me. Simple question. You guys think the salaries are out of whack, or is this new norm? Is this the new normal moving forward? Some very mediocre players making serious money. I think I know where Pierre stands on this.
I think a lot of managers have been bullied by agents and they've made mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
But I also think that it's not the player's fault. Once the player gets the money,
Right.
Everybody would take it. So I don't blame the player at all. You also have to remember too, if you want to be part of the revenue sharing package of the National Hockey League, you got to get to the floor.
Yeah.
And so in order to get to the floor, you still have to pay players to get there. And so that's part of this too. And everybody says, oh, the cap's going to go up to this point. It's going to go over 100 million. It's going to go over 100 million. It will.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know how many owners are going to want to do that?
Exactly.
Maybe half the league.
Yeah.
The other half's not going to want to do that. And so they're going to have their own internal cap.
Yeah. It is going to be interesting. But I do think, I mean, obviously, yeah, you see some players and you're like, huh, how did that happen? But, and like, I'm glad you said that too. It's not the player's fault. I mean, it isn't. What are they supposed to do?
No, you say, no, that's too much money. Take it back.
I don't want that
I
much.
don't want it.
All right. Next question. Marik Istok.
Love this guy. Love Marik.
Yes. Hello, Marik. Hello, Jimmy. Do you know what is with Kirby Doc? It looks like he wasn't on at Nick Suzuki's wedding, and he hasn't been on the ice with the team. What do you think this means for Kirby and the Habs? I'll just say quickly, Pierre and Marik, I understand. I get the question, but I do think people are making too much of a big deal about that. This is a summer. Like, guys want to get away sometimes, and it's no offense to their teammates, but sometimes they just want to break completely from the game because they don't really have much. You get right into workouts, you get right into rehab, whatever you got to do to start getting ready for the next season. I wouldn't read too much into that he wasn't at that wedding.
Yeah, I wouldn't read too much into that either. Sometimes guys they have other things going on. They just can't get there. I mean, I don't even, in the last 2 years, Mrs. McGuire could tell you, we've been at a lot of weddings. And I finally said to her, I said, at some point, like, it's expensive when you're flying all over the place to go to weddings. And you can't make, there's an old saying, you can't dance at every wedding.
Yeah.
You know what? At some point, you got to just say, I'd love to be there. You send a nice gift, but you can't make it to every wedding. Like, I wish I could, but I can't.
I mean, I just missed my cousin's wedding, but I couldn't do it. It was down in Aruba. It was just bad timing. So,
no, we get it.
And congratulations, by the way, to Brendan Murphy.
Way to go, Brendan. Way to go.
All right. Next question. Bert L. Pierre and Jimmy, as hockey media and or former NHL staffers, how do you choose what team you root for? Pierre grew up in Montreal and saw the two cups with Pitt and worked with the two cups in Pittsburgh. What team do you support most? Pierre, I don't know about you, but I'll just say and I'm not going to lie, when I grew up, I was a Bruins fan, and I've told you I was a Red Wings fan because of Steve Eisman. But as I knew I had to become objective, being in the media. And as I've grown older, I cheer more for the game and specific players and good stories. I don't know about you. That's kind of where I stand.
I always have a soft spot in my heart for the Canadians. I won't even pretend.
Mm-hmm.
Even when I coached against them, I had a great relationship with Pat Burns, the late Pat Burns. I had a really good relationship with Jacques Demers.
Yep.
And I got along really well with Mario Tremblay. Those were the three guys when I was coaching that were coaching in Montreal. So I always had a lot of respect for them, and coached against Pat when he was in Toronto too. But I'll always have a soft spot in my heart for Montreal, but I still consider myself a Penguin. And
yeah,
I don't cheer for anybody. I cheer for my friends. When Ray Shero was running Pittsburgh, I was cheering like heck for him.
Exactly.
When he became the general manager of New Jersey, I cheered for him too.
Yeah.
So.
And you already knew this, but I'm starting to get it, Pierre, and feeling pretty old. Cheering for my friends' sons now and their kids, which is very strange all of a sudden.
I had Alfie Samuelson's son, Philip, play his first pro game. I think I was broadcasting the game.
Oh, wow.
And I remember when Philip was running through our dressing room like chewing gum, and I'm like, damn, I'm broadcasting Alfie's boys' game. This is crazy.
Time flies. All right. Juice _031017. Pierre, what was the late Ray Shero's best trade during his time as general manager? He had some good ones.
He had some really good ones. Pittsburgh, he had a couple of real good ones. The big one with Atlanta was huge. getting Marion Holson, Pascal Dupuis. He traded a lot to get those guys, but they made an impact on the team. Getting Brian Dumoulin in the Jordan Stahl deal, people don't talk about that enough. That was a heck of a deal. Like, I know that Sutter came in that deal too. Never materialized the way Brandon wanted it to, but he was a good player for Pittsburgh for a while. I think he made one with New Jersey for Kyle Palmieri. That was really good. Yeah. Was really good for them for a while. So there were a lot. Ray did a lot of really good trading. A lot of it was done right down below where I'm sitting now. But anyways.
All right, next question. Chris Blue Shirts. What's up, Chris? Hey, guys, a few Rangers questions for you. Is Gabe Perreault NHL ready? Would Sully play Mika's Zibanejad at center or wing? And I think Edstrom will have a good year as well. Your thoughts?
Well, first of all, Chris, I agree on Edstrom. I was really impressed by him last year. I thought there was exponential growth. I don't think they'll place Mika Zibanejad if he's still there. I don't think they're going to play him on the wing. I think they'll play him at center. I definitely think Gabe Perreault is ready for prime time. He's an amazingly creative offensive player. Hagens, Perreault, and Leonard for BC was phenomenal line. I think Gabe's ready, and I think where he'll thrive for the Rangers, as long as he's deployed there, is on the power play. He's really, really good on the power play. Really good.
All right, next question. Juice_031-017. Your thoughts on the Canadian coaching staff for the World Juniors with Dale Hunter, Misha Donskoff, Gardner, McDougall, and Brad Lauer?
Well, first of all, Gardner McDougall might be the most underrated coach in all of hockey. All he does is win everywhere he goes. When I was working with Jeff Merrick on the draft coverage this year, we had Gardner on. It's somebody we interviewed, especially after Caleb Denway got drafted by Utah. I thought Gardner was phenomenal in that interview. I thought he was so good. I think he's an outstanding member of any staff. Misha Donskoff is a real good friend of Pete DeBoer, and Pete's got a big voice in Hockey Canada. And so for Pete to support somebody like that is really good. Dale's phenomenal. There'll be no messing around. Dale will crack the whip. And let's remember the tournament's being held in North America this year. It's in Minnesota. It's not being held in Europe. So, no, I think it's a really good staff. I'm really excited for them. And Brad Lauer is someone I've known a long, long time. I got a lot of time for Brad. So, I think it's good. It's a good staff.
Yeah, and anything the Hunters touch, they win.
Usually, yeah.
All right, next question. Alex Ivanovsky, if the idea of a salary cap and the floor is to help smaller markets compete with the big markets, but after all is said and done, they still can't keep up with the growing cap, then what's the purpose of it?
Fair question. One of the biggest things for the NHL right now is franchise valuation. So I'll give you an example. Eugene Melnyk, the late Eugene Melnyk, bought the Ottawa Senators for $95 million, including the building. And after he passed, his heirs sold the team for $940 million. Pretty good investment.
Yep. And
so it's not so much about the day-to-day operation. And I had a long talk with a major hockey person today about this. It's about franchise valuation.
Yep. All right, next question. Juice_031-017. Pierre, who would win in a 7-game series, the 2013 Blackhawks or the 2025 Panthers? That would be a great matchup.
Well, so I think what would happen, especially that 13 team, they were so good in Chicago, Taves and Barkov would cancel each other out. And so that would be an interesting part of it. I think Chicago's defense would give somebody like Bennett a rough ride. And so I think that would make it a little harder for Florida, where I think, and this is not a knock on Corey Crawford, by the way, who is very good in goal for Chicago. I'm not sure he's better than Bobrovsky. I think if there was one edge where Florida would have it, it would be in goal. But I also think at that time, the best skating left defense in hockey belonged to Chicago. And they could embarrass you because they'd break your forecheck so well. It started with Duncan Keith and just flowed down to Nick Leddy. It was amazing how fast they were on the left side of the ice. So I'm going to say 2013 beats 2025.
Ooh. 7 games?
Oh, it would be long.
Yeah.
See, again, depends on how healthy you stay.
All right.
But, you know, like people forget Patrick Sharp was a heck of a player. Like,
Oh, yeah.
Sharp, you had offense all over that lineup in Chicago that people didn't talk. Andrew Shaw, like, go look at all what these guys were doing. Like, they had some tough guys, they had some skill guys, but they were really well coached.
Yeah.
Quinn did a heck of a job there. Joel did a really good job.
All right, and that's it for our questions, Pierre. Everyone out there for the questions, as always, we appreciate it. Thanks to ECAC Commissioner Doug Christiansen for joining us here, and of course to Shane working the boards up in Montreal. Pierre, you got some big weekend plans or anything? Want to just relaxing with Melanie, or?
I'm not at liberty to disclose yet.
Okay, all right.
I'm kind of like on double secret probation. I'm waiting for some of my friends to get up here for a little golf action, but nobody's here yet. So.
Oh, nice. All right. Well, as we were saying, you might before we got on air, you were talking about maybe going on Al's game. Well,
I'm definitely not this week. I'll go Friday. A week from Friday, I'm gonna go.
I went once. I had a ball. It was a great time.
Oh, go to Percival Molson Stadium. It was off the charts. Great. It's awesome.
Great stuff. Thanks everyone out there. We will talk to you next week, next Wednesday, 4 p.m. Eastern, here on the Eye Test on the Sick Podcast Network.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Eye Test with Pierre McGuire and Jimmy Murphy on YouTube, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.